Well, it's mailbag time. Got a big box here. I think that's a piece of test gear. I'm not sure where this is from. Let's see what else we got here. So make sure you stick around to find out what we got. As usual, we do it in the order of smallest to largest. So we'll find out about this later on. As always, there'll be links down below for items I can give you links for. I'll check those out. Wow, that was really fast. I'm actually really impressed. I ordered these 4 days ago from China, and they've already arrived. That's incredible. 3mm infrared LEDs. So I need these for a repair I'm doing on this. I'm doing a video about it. That's surprisingly quick. I'm really impressed. Anyway, this infrared LEDs, wavelength 850nm. That's the forward voltage on these. You can get different forward voltages. I took a guess because I don't actually know what's in the current device. I'll experiment with this. If it ends up that the system is set up for a lower one, maybe it will last longer before it burns out again next time. Trimmers, okay. Little surface mount trimmers. Got a little assortment here. 1K through to 100K. 3mm by 3mm. I got these because I did that CB repair the other day. I didn't actually have any of these size trimmer. I would have actually liked to replace it because I didn't trust it. But I didn't have a replacement. It did seem to be working okay, but it's like, I'd rather replace it because it did have some solder on it. Anyway, I didn't have any, so I thought I'd better get some. I don't really need to use these sorts of things very often, but so I didn't get many. I got an assortment, so at least I've got some, which is better than none. Saw these online the other day on AliExpress. You can quite clearly see what they are through the bag anyway. But these are banana plugs. Dual banana. It's basically a copy of the Pomona ones, you know, the same format at least. There's a gold plate. Probably, I don't know, that might be brass. Who knows? Looks more like brass than a gold plate, but anyway, if you want to make up cables, you can just get some of these. And it's got the 19mm spacing, or 3/4 inch spacing. If you want to make cables up, instead of buying them pre-made, you can get those. Or if you want to make up jigs or set connections up, so you've got like a standard single plug instead of having to put wires on. A couple of things I have to use wires on my power supply here. I think I'll get some of these and I can just like plug them straight in. Red and black means you can also do like pairs of cables, so you have a cable with reds on, a cable with blacks on. That makes, if you're doing 4-wire measurements, that kind of thing, you can see which cable's which more easily. And it's a bunch more trimmers, same as those things. Bigger assortment, 100 ohms up to 1 meg, 20 pieces of each. So yep, okay. I'll really now set myself up some parts drawers to put these trimmers into. Have like a surface mount trimmers tray thing. And it seems, you know, the thing I just said about having a parts drawer set up to put these things into. Here they are. Aidetek boxes. These are really good boxes. I've got a few of these. I probably didn't really need to get another one. I've got a couple sitting around already as spares. You always need backups. You always need spares. But this one's got these small compartments here. I thought I'd get this one and I can put all these trimmers in here. Just have a trimmers box and have all the different trimmers in here. Whichever ones I may end up getting in the future. Because there's lots of different types. So that's what I'm going for. And also you've got little labels in there too. You want to stick labels on and label them all up. Useful. Things are starting to get bigger. Power cable. Special power cable. It's a PH163 power cable. It's one of these. Hopefully it's the right one. There are different versions. Anyway, older equipment will have this kind of plug on it. This kind of thing. These cables are hard to get and expensive. This is obviously a brand new cable. This cable was not cheap. I'm going to be cutting this plug off and putting a New Zealand plug on to suit my country. But it means I at least have one cable for doing testing on equipment which uses this kind of socket and plug arrangement. Normally I'll actually remove that socket and plug and then fit a new one, like a IEC connector. That's what I'd normally do. I've done that many times in videos. But I wanted to have a cable which I could at least use for doing testing. So I could plug it in, test it before I go into the effort of replacing the IEC and stuff like that, in case I've got a device which is completely fried and there's no recovering it. You know, at least then I'd know that it's not worth the effort of doing that. Not cheap. This is from eBay. There are still some there. Look for PH163, whatever it is, and you'll hopefully find it. So if you can guess where this box came from, put it down below in the comments. Especially if you know why it might be perishable. Why would it be perishable? That's strange. Well, let's get into it. I did buy several items. Still not sure why it's perishable. Let's unbag these things and go through them. Load of stuff in here. Now let's look at the perishable thing first. It's wrapped up and everything. It's just perishable in here. Solder paste. That's right, I got some solder paste. So that's obviously what's inside here. I'm not quite sure about the whole keeping it chilled thing over a period of several days, since it's taken that long to get here. Little ice pack thing. Well, it ain't cold still. Yeah, chip quick solder paste. Apparently I need to go and put this in the fridge now. I should go and do that now. Then I'll come right back. Right, that's out in the fridge. Let's see what we've got here. Pram ICs FM16W08 SG 28 pin SICs. These are 64 kilobit. I'm getting some of these because I think about older equipment which have got battery backed RAM. I want to try and do conversions to RAM where I can. I also had like an old cart sold on Digikey, and I decided to clear it out and actually use it. So there's some CD4553BE IC decoders. So I had some basically 4000 series devices stored on the cart. I remember the mailbag I did a while ago. I got loads of 4000 series devices and basically set up parts drawers, stuff for them, stocking up whilst they can still be obtained. I had these ones sitting in a separate cart because I couldn't afford to buy them all at one go. And I kind of never got around to actually going back into that cart and repopulating it. So I got some more of those. So these are all 4000 devices, or a lot of them are anyway. So CD4527BE, BCD rate mux, 4-bit. What have we got here? Connectors, transistor connectors. Oh right, these are transistor sockets. Which version are these? TO5, 8 position. So these are for like op amps, things like that, old metal can op amps. So the round sockets you can put on a board. So if you're doing like troubleshooting and you're taking a part out of the board to see if it's that maybe wrong, you can put a socket in and then put a new part in. If the new part doesn't fix it, you can put the old part back in again to retain that without having to take the board back out again and all that sort of stuff. So I've got some of these. There's only 8 in there. It's not something I use very often, but there's been many times I wished I had them. They're fairly expensive, which is why I don't get very many. CD4503 buffers, non-inverting. CD4556 IC decoder DMux. CD4555BM96. These ones are SOICs instead of DIP. CD4508. These are also SOICs instead of DIP. I was thinking if I can get an SOIC version at least, I could probably put it on an adapter and convert it to a DIP. So I was thinking that as like a last resort thing, because you just couldn't get the DIP versions anymore. So anything here, CD4518 BN96 BCD counter, also SIC. DIP type is what I really wanted to get, but sometimes you just can't get them anymore. What are these ones? Transistors, connectors, 10 of these, 4 position gold ones. So TO5, 4 positions, and this time you can actually see the things. So you've got 4 legs on them, so that could be good for something. 4-pin devices, because you don't have to use all 4 pins, you can just use 3 if you want. CD4514 decoder DMux again. This is not small SOICs. CD4522 dividers, divide by ends. These are dips. Don't forget, I've still got a big box to do yet. We've got gigs to that. We'll work through all these first and we'll get to the big box. CD4502 inverting buffers. CD4532BM96. Didn't we have some of these before? Priority encoders, SICs. CD4503 non-inverting buffers, 16-bit dip. Some of these are just what I could get, I suppose. CD4515 decoder DMux, SICs. Whole SIC thing's a bit of a pain because, like I said, I need to convert them. Transistor socket, 3 position. Oh, these are 3 position ones, great. TO5, so that's the same as the other ones with 4-pin, but only got 3. 10 of those. CD 4518 BCD counter, dual counters, 4-bit, and dip. CD 4510BE BCD counter, another dip set. CD 4516 binary counter, 4-bit, in dip. Sockets, 8 position, T05s, same as the other ones 8 before. Again, you can't really see, oh, maybe you can see them in there. Maybe you can see them. Yeah, there you go, just see them in there. CD 4532BE, priority encoder, in dip. CD 4512, selective mux, also in dip. CD 4520, binary counter, in dip. In here are some receptacles, connectors, 18 to 22 AWG crimps. This is what they look like. Now I've got these. These are connectors which can be used to make your own versions of these. So you can 3D print a little connector, and then you can use these connectors inside them to make the pins. So an option is to do this and spend a lot of money on these cables, or you can make your own with a 3D printer and these connections. So these are the terminals you need. Okay, so these are the part number stuff if you want to do that. Might be useful to you. The only risk of 3D printing them is that you have to worry about leakages and the fact that you're messing with 240 volts potentially, or 120 volts if you're overseas, and you're doing main stuff. You have to be really careful about what materials you're using the printer connectors with. Be mindful about heat and deflection and warp and things like that. And so you want something which is going to be quite stable. I mean, these are just PVC or something. Just consider that, because if you use the wrong material, you could end up catching fire with something. So do that at your own risk. But which is why I want to get one of these. I didn't really want to do a 3D printed version, but I thought I'd get these whilst I can. Then I've got the option of doing it, and I've got a proper cable. So yeah. Now the big box. I'm pretty sure this box is not going to be Defpom approved. It looks too small for the item I believe is in it. At least too small, decent packaging to protect it, you know. Now, whenever I buy things on eBay, I always stipulate 100mm of packaging, if it's something heavy and bulky, 100mm padding completely surrounding it, right? So it should be 200mm thick just of padding. Yeah. So the question is, has it been damaged? It's got cardboard stuffed around it, but that definitely is not 200mm packing. What we got, 20mm, if that, on the top. The front is literally that thick, like not even 2 finger widths. I can get 1 finger down and it takes up the width of the padding. So 1 finger width, so what's that, 10mm on the front? Yeah. Let's hope there's no damage. In fact, it's only on those corners. It's not even fully surrounding it. Maybe you can see it. Basically no protection on that front at all. Like, just, there's nothing. I'm not impressed by the packaging. The power cable, how useful. I have absolutely no use for this cable, although it's quite a long one. Might just cut that plug off. Let's check it out and see if there's any damage. There's a Keithley. There's a foot missing. Well, just checking everything feels like it's not been smashed in. Okay, dial feels awfully loose. That does not feel like it's attached properly. Pretty sure that's not normal. That feels like it might be broken. Okay, check the back. So like I said, bottom side's got a foot missing. Not in the packaging, so it's not like it's broken off. Rear side, okay, they look alright. Okay, I think we've been lucky. There's just that dial on the front which seems a bit dodgy. Yeah, anyway, so on the rear here we've got high and low outputs and high low sense. So you've got high output here with the guard on that B and C, This is actually a triax, 3-lug triax. So is that one, so is that one. So you've got low, high and high sense on triaxes. Okay. Got trigger in and out, interlock stuff. No cables for those, but I'm sure you can get those. So the triax is a bit of a clue about the fact it's position. So 237 high voltage source measure unit, SMU. Now this looks like it's had a sticker across the front covering up this. I don't remember seeing it looking that bad in the pictures. I might go back and have a quick look now. Well, I've gone back to the listing, had a closer look at it, and it wasn't obvious in the pictures, but yes, that foot was missing in the picture, and this tape was on display. Because I had it powered up and the lighting was the way it wasn't as obvious to see. It is sold as a faulty unit. It's not working. Apparently it's outputting negative 123 volts all the time. So this is a repair job. So we'll be looking at this in a future video. Needs a bit of cleaning up and a bit of fixing, but that's alright. That's what I like to do. Other videos to watch down below there. Don't forget there's links to various things I can give you links for. Subscribe over here if you're not already subscribed. There's a Patreon support link over there to help to support the channel. Helping to buy things like this. This thing I spent, I think it was about $1,500 on. And it's broken. Gives you some idea how much money I need to run this channel. Catch you later.